Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. You know, if you don't try, you don't know if you succeed or not. That is, always try. Don't assume, try and see what the outcome would be. And that would also leave no regrets. Because that's it's a bad feeling when you look back at your life and say, hey, I should have tried this, but I didn't try. It's more regretful than, well, I tried and I failed. Well, at least you tried. You did your best, and that's what mattered. So if you do your best in anything you do and you don't succeed, no regrets whatsoever. What else could you do? The same here in this article that I have today. It's about NATO and India. I personally did not expect this, how should I put it, attempt from NATO to attract maybe India in its ranks. And as unbelievable as it sounds, it's real. The problem is how did India react? Well, India obviously is an independent, strong country, and since the current government cannot be toppled, I think they have to deal with it in other ways. So in this case, a little offer from NATO to India to join the ranks of NATO. It's not an invitation, letter that was submitted to the Indian authorities, obviously, but it's a little bit of, hints here and there. Now, what do I have here? I have an article coming from Sputnik. It is from today, the 2nd of December 2022. This is the title. And I'm quoting, India stands tall and proud on its own, end quote. New Delhi on NATO overtures. So, the remarks were made by India's top diplomat at the United Nations as India assumes the rotating presidency of the 15-member UN Security Council for the month of December. India's top UN diplomat told the organization that India stands tall and proud on its own, in reaction to a suggestion that NATO was trying to lure the 1.1 billion strong country into an anti-China and anti-Russia alliance. And I'm quoting, India is too big a country. India's permanent representative in New York, Rachira Kamboj, said. For his part, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov recently pointed out that NATO has been escalating tensions in the South China Sea and the Taiwan Strait, the same way it has done in Europe. Moscow specifically specified that the alliance's eastward expansion to Russia's western borders was one of the primary reasons behind the special military operation in Ukraine that was launched in February. Well, you can mention that how much you want when you speak with people who really have their mindset to a certain kind of worldview. You can't change that, even if you bring them the evidence. Because this is I want to give you an example. Imagine that someone comes to you and tells you, hey, Gigi, actually those parents that you have or you had, they were not your biological parents, actually. You are made in the laboratory. Or they point out to you and say, hey, you were actually adopted when you were, 3 months old by your parents, but the real parents, the biological parents, let's put it this way, were those guys over there. What would you say? Oh, okay, well, that's fine, thank you. All right. At least you would say, let me verify that. Okay? That would be the proper, normal way of dealing with these kind of things. It would be hard for you to believe, obviously, because you have your mindset as you have it. But you at least would say, well, let me verify that. That would be I don't believe you, I'm not certain, but let me check it out. That would be the normal thing. Don't say, no, I really don't believe that. No, that's impossible. Well, could be, I don't know if it's impossible, but at least give it a try. Figure it out. All right? Or say the other way, oh yeah, really, okay, I believe you, yeah. Now, which do you think is the appropriate way of enhancing your knowledge? The first one, no, that's impossible. The other one, oh yeah, okay, thank you for letting me know. Oh, I didn't know that. I believe you 100%. Or the middle one, which would be, well, hard for me to believe, but you know what? Because I care about myself, let me check it out. Let me verify that. Let me look into it and then make my own decision based on my little mental informational investigation. That's the way it should be. So it's hard for people, for all of us, to change our worldviews once we have them established. And the older we get, the harder it is. Okay, the younger it's easier, the older it's harder. Why? Because we get to a point where we think like, well, I kind of know everything now. Obviously that's an impossibility, but we get sometimes to this position, which is a bad position, wrong position to take. But we say, well, what do you think when you talk with an older person, regardless how young you are? So let's say you're 50 and speak with someone who's, 78. You don't say, well, man, I had a long life. You still have to learn a lot of things. Why do you think they say that? Because they think that they necessarily know more than you because they lived longer. The same, a 50-year-old guy would tell to a 30, man, I lived a long life. You have so many things to learn. First, you don't know how much the 30-year-old guy knows already. So just say that. An arrogant way of saying things. But we all are guilty of doing this sometime. And the sooner we understand that, the better, because we're not going to use it. And we realize, well, that's not right. So we have here this guy's Indian saying, you know what, we kind of take care of our own, and we're not going to join your New Zealand, Japan, South Korea, and Australia, the Pacific countries alliance over there. So we're going to be on our own. India also has important relationship with Russia. Speaking at the headquarters, United Nations headquarters, Cambodia, also highlighted that Delhi has an important relationship with Russia, through which India has significantly boosted energy and commercial ties in light of high global commodity prices caused by Western attempts to phase Russia out of supply chains. Remember, this is Sputnik, so these kind of things, show you a little bit of bias, a little bit or more, anyway. So India doesn't need them. The problem is you don't have to need them, but the problem is when you join an organization, you definitely have to give up some of your freedoms, liberties, decision-making, you have to, powers, you have to sometimes do things that are contrary to your own interest in the name of the organization's, interest. And therefore you might not want to do that. I don't think India needs NATO, but so did Russia, and see where it's at. A lot of countries don't need NATO. NATO nowadays, not nowadays, I think it proved to be not what it says it is, or it said. Initially, of course, it was, as an answer to the Warsaw Pact. Now the Warsaw Pact is gone. This should have been gone since that threat was gone. But it still lingered, and it lingered because it turned from a defensive organization, it turned into a police force. Police force that is used by certain states for economic reasons, for economic interests. So they basically go and make sure that wherever those economic interests want to get in, they will get in at a certain kind of deal. It's not like they get in on equal footing with everybody else. No, they need special treatment. You want to see that? Just go at what they tried to do with Venezuela. They didn't try anything militarily yet, because there were other countries that were very much opposed, and that's China and Russia, to all that intervention. They tried to destabilize here and there. They tried that weasel Guaido to be in and all that. But I'm not saying that Maduro is the, fantastic leader and so on, but I don't think that is a matter that should really concern other states or have other states intervene in the internal affairs of other states, because if United States doesn't like China interfere, or Canada or other countries, well, why do you assume that everybody else like you getting in their internal affairs? Well, because we are the good people. That's basically the argument. And it's like you go on the street and meet someone and someone tells you that, what can you do? You're a good person, I'm a bad person, so everything I do is bad, everything you do is good. So I'm going to stay as far away from you as possible, and if we interact, I will make sure that I will be myself and I will not let you do what you think you can do to me or to everybody else. Basically, that's my interest, basically that's your interest. But anyway, India, too strong to do it. If they have the right government, they will join NATO. But the problem is, right now, NATO doesn't have in India the right government to join NATO. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.